This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
What's up, Cracker? Hey, it's Rusty. I was just thinking about you, so I figured I'd keep you shout, but you're probably sleeping because you need your daggum beauty sleep and stuff. So you're not as sexy as me, but it's okay. There's hope for you. Yeah. All right, brother. Later.
It is June 23rd, 2022. Happy birthday if it is in fact your birthday today. This is my buddy Rusty, and I just noticed that open didn't say, and co-host Marnie Winfield.
That's okay.
Okay, that was your drop.
Oh.
That was your drop, yeah. That's okay.
I'm Marnie Winfield.
Yeah, I'm Corey Winfield, and that was my buddy Rusty. Rest in peace. He struggled, and he was there for me when I struggled. And it was such a needed moment in my life. I remember one time I was in the hospital, and I don't know how many times I promised my family that I wouldn't drink again. You know, at that time I still thought that it was possible to just stop drinking. And I was going to meetings, and that's where I hooked up with Rusty. But Rusty, he was a few years older than me in school, but he knew who I was. And earlier in my drug career, we did some partying together. But when I went to the first AA meeting in Riverside, Michigan, I went in and I saw him, and it was just like, oh, like I just felt so relieved. And I saw a few other faces of people that I knew, you know, that were my age. And I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. And I was very new to AA then, and it was just so refreshing that we could go out and have fun. And I think he might have been the person that taught me, like, we can have fun, you know, in recovery. And it like I said, it was so refreshing. And I remember I was just laying in the hospital, and I don't know how he found out that I had relapsed, but he did. And I don't know, maybe he couldn't get a hold of me or something. So he hit my mom up, you know, and that's the kind of guy he was. You know, he was going to make sure I was okay. And he didn't even have a license, but he got a ride up there, and he came to see me. And I just remember looking down and like at my feet, because he came walking in, and he was like, "What are you doing in here, cracker?" And I was like, "What's up, man?" It made me smile, and it cheered me up. And he's just like, "Look, man, you just got to get back up, you know, and it's what you do from here that really matters." And, you know, it sucks that he's not around anymore. And every time I play that, I mean, I'm starting to tear up now, but I smile, you know. And he left that message. I think I was in jail, actually. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, that's.
No, I think it's great. I think it's good to remember moments like that. And it's so important that when people fall, and they do, because this disease is difficult, we know that firsthand, is that not to shame anyone, and just to reach out and say, hey, the most important thing right now to know is you're worth it, and you can do it again. Don't give up. You know, don't quit quitting.
Yeah. And we made event, and I remember I was like, I don't know, 37 or 38. I was living at home with my mom, you know, like, and stepdad. I mean, hey, sometimes you got to do that, you know, and I'm grateful that I had a place to kind of rebound to. And even though I went out to drink many more times and frustrate the hell out of them, they were still there for me. And as time went on, especially my stepdad, he became less judgmental. I think once he started kind of learning about how it works, and you don't just stop drinking, you know, I mean, I guess it's been done, but to be actually in recovery and living in recovery is totally different than just, well, I don't do drugs anymore. Okay, what would you replace it with?
Right.
Church, pancakes, working out. What, you know, there's something that replaces it. And usually that if you're going hardcore with that, you end up going right back. But anyway, Rusty and I, we started making things up for us to do, and we were going to do this church tour where we were going to just hit a bunch of churches, and we were going to make concert t-shirts, but it was like church t-shirts of like the churches that we went to. And I mean, I would do it now easy because we make shirts and stuff like that. But like back then I was like, well, we can do this and get them all on here, but once we got to complete it, you know. And we went to his church and then my church, and that was it. Like we were both like, I mean, that's cool and all, but you know.
So like a pub crawl, but without the pubs and without the crawling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like
churches.
We had a name for it and everything. And I remember I photoshopped one of his pictures where he was like wearing his shades, looking all cool, and I put like a church background behind it, so it looked like he was like standing in, like if you walked into a church, you know, and the pews would be on the left and right, and he's in the middle, and up behind him is like where the preacher is, you know, and the podium and all that. I mean, he was like standing like I don't know. It was very funny, and I don't know. I just had a good time with him. But,
yeah, you've shared a lot of stories about him, and he sounds like a great guy.
Yeah, he passed away in February, but lives on in my heart forever.
Absolutely.
No. But anyway, I was just trying to figure out what intro to play, and I hit that, and then I kind of smiled, and I was like, yeah, I'm playing that one today. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so speaking of intros, there's a podcast, we talked about it weeks ago. It's going to start. It's called the Recovery Closet Podcast. And basically, we've mentioned this before as well, the Recovery Closet. I mean, first of all, it came about because he said he was going to do the podcast in a closet. And we kind of joked about that, of course. Oh, you're coming out of the closet thing. But it then started to make sense because when people they out themselves about their recovery, it's very personal. Sometimes people don't want to. Some people never do. You know, for me, it helped starting the podcast because I didn't have to hide anything anymore. It's like, I'm in recovery. Judge me for my past. I don't care. I'm living right now. I'm in recovery. And for me, it was easy to come out. But for some people, you know, if you tell your employer that, hey, I'm in recovery, they're, we can't trust him, you know, and that's just way of life. Fortunately, it is getting easier day by day, but different people in different situations, you know, some people can't come out like that and tell their boss and tell the world they're in recovery, at least not in their early recovery. And is it their boss's business? No. You know, they're showing up, they're doing their job. It is what it is. You know, do they need to run and tell their whole family? No. Chances are they probably know you have a problem, but, you know, prove it instead of saying it, I guess. But so that kind of became the premise of the Recovery Closet, and they're starting a podcast. And so I made him an intro, and this is Casey Chappell and Pretty Ricky. I'm assuming that's who he's going to go by because that's what I call. Anyway, I put together a little intro for him, and I want to play it for you. And I played it for you in the car, Marty, but here it is on our show. 217 Recovery is proud to present the Recovery Closet Podcast with your host, Casey Chappell.
Vodka for breakfast, 72-hour drug binges, and spending sprees that beggar belief. Allison Boshoff reveals why Hollywood's reeling.
And co-host, Pretty Ricky.
Objection calls for speculation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Hi, it's the Recovery Closet Podcast. My name's Casey. Hey, what up, I'm Pretty Ricky? Thanks for joining us. I don't know how they're going to start it, but probably not like that. But yeah, so I put that together for them. And I have a closing too, but I figured, you know what? Before I put too much effort, let me make sure they start this thing. But they will. And you just got a text saying, oh, okay, cool. But they're still they're just trying to figure out some things. But I worked with Casey, I don't know, a week or two ago about it, you know, and kind of showed them, here's what you do and here's how, you know. So they got it down pretty much, I think, and we're just waiting.
And anybody can do one.
Just waiting.
There's your crickets, right?
Yeah. Anyway, you mean a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom should start one. Oh my God, that'd be so funny. Damn, Corey. I'm like, see, I told you swear at me. Oh man, yeah. No, I hope my mom's doing all right. She texted me the other day and said she misses us.
Aw.
So I know.
She'll see her soon.
Yeah, we will. I told her I miss her too, but yeah, I'll help my mom start a podcast. That'll be my Christmas gift to her. Get it all set up for her and like, here you go. Oh man, that'd be so interesting. There'd be a lot of deleted episodes. I'm like, I thought she published one yesterday. She did. Where'd it go? It's deleted now.
You have to edit them, like censor.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, Mom, send them to me before you publish them, please. But nah, their podcast is I'm excited for it. I think it's something that is going to help them, and they might do it once a week. I don't know. You know, they don't have to do it every day. But, you know, my big thing to them was, especially when they start out, do it when you say you're going to do it. You know, do it. If you publish it on Saturdays at 7 o'clock, every week, man. Even if you got to record it on a Wednesday or Thursday, you can set it to where you publish it later. but pick a day and stick to it, and if you have to knock out 2 or 3 at a time, do it. If you want to have guests on, I can show them how to do that too. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, man. And I've been wanting to kind of help people with that under the 217 umbrella, sort of, like it's their podcast, but we can put stuff on our website, and they might even have their own website, so I'm excited.
The thing that's cool about the intro that you started up for them, I mean, first off, in between your voice is not actually them, just to clarify.
Right.
That's just some stuff that you put in there
some
for
drops.
now. From drops that you put in for now.
First I was like, wow, should I do the stuff like that? But I was like, it's the Johnny Depp trial. It's stuff from that. And
no, I mean, it's funny. I think it's cute, but eventually, even if you like that setup, it will be stuff like things cuts from what they say in the show.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. I like how you do that with our intros, some kind of like, I don't know, inspirational moments that, we share and kind of put those in there.
And some silly ones.
Or some silly ones too, but just wanted people to know that wasn't them. It was just random stuff in between, but it's peppy and I like it.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I did that the other day.
Yeah.
Before we went to recovery, I don't even know what it's called. We can call it the Recovery Conference in Lansing, but it wasn't really, I don't know what it was.
It was put on by Rise Recovery, which is what do you want to call it? Program, I guess, in Lansing.
Yeah, they're a recovery community organization.
Yeah, they're an RCO, and
Lansing.
They kind of put it together, and it was an invite for agencies and businesses and organizations that provided services of some sort, of all different kinds, to people with substance use disorder, mental health stuff. There were some colleges there.
Yeah.
That was cool. Harm reduction kind of focus. Who else is there? Some different agencies that do certifications for recovery housing. They were there.
Our friend Courtney, she was there.
Sanford House.
Courtney Quick. Yeah, she's been on our podcast. And in 2019, you can go back if you want to go on the app and listen to her story. It's a pretty crazy story, like really crazy story. But she used to work at Skywood Recovery. Now she works for Sanford House in Grand Rapids, but she's a representative for Northern Michigan.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's always nice to see her. She's funny, like hanging out with her. And then, ATS, Addiction Treatment Services, shared a table with 217 Recovery, which was fun. We work real close with them and we like them.
Yeah.
I like them. Mm-hmm. So that was fun, and got to hang out with Emmy, and I got to meet Adam.
Yeah.
From there.
You never met Adam before.
No, I've never met Adam.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
Yeah, he's the case manager, I believe, at the Detox.
Yeah.
In Traverse City, and that was fun. He's a really, really cool dude. He gets it. He's one of us. Like that's the thing when you hang out with people in recovery. Like we're just all part of the same group. Like some are tatted up, some aren't. And it's just we're all the same. Mm-hmm. And I heard a lady, and I don't know where she was from. I didn't see her later. Well, I didn't really look for her, but I was out getting coffee, and I heard her talking to somebody else, and she's like, "Yeah, well, you just have to learn how to talk to these people," and blah 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 blah. So I could tell they weren't in recovery, and I'm just like, whatever.
I would say on that note, and this is just for me because we were behind. I mean, we took turns, networking from our end, like being behind the table, and people would, kind of visit each table one on one, and then we went out and visited tables as well to have discussions with the different organizations and such. And I bet you, I'm just going to guess, and maybe you can give me your thoughts on this. Okay. I'd bet you 70 maybe % of those people were in recovery.
That's yeah.
It's at
least 70%.
I think yeah.
It might have been higher.
Might be higher. And I was being gracious because, obviously it doesn't matter either way. But in terms of people vocalizing that's what they had come from, it was at least half the people that I talked to.
Yeah. That
actually made a reference to having been there or having utilized those particular services or know somebody who has or been in, family members that have been touched by addiction.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was a very comfortable place to be in, I think. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel like it was going to be that way, because you always are like, oh, these, people that, you need to say the right things and have all the answers. And no, it was just a discussion about this is what our agency has to offer and how we help people. How do you help people? And that was amazing. And the one thing that I loved, what was his name? His name was Corey too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That worked for Rise. And he was saying like, there's no competition here.
Yeah.
Like there's no one-upping each other in this room. This is all about helping people. We're all here for the same reason. Mm-hmm. And that was a total beautiful realization.
Yeah, because if you look at it, they say like 1 in 10 or whatever, 2 in 10 people that are suffering reach out for help. And right now, the places are full. Places that are run by the state. Like if you have private insurance, that's cool. You can go to some really cool places. You got options. You can leave the state. You can go to Oregon. You can go to California. Go to Florida, whatever, man. But you have options. If you, like me, lose your job and now you find yourself, on Medicaid or the Michigan Healthy Plan here in Michigan, you don't have options, and you're supposed to be able to go to any place in the state that takes or accepts Medicaid. But depending on what area you're in, they'll say, oh, we don't contract with them, so here's the one you can go to, and it's like, wait, what? No, I get to pick the one, mm-hmm. If you guys don't contract with them, then you need to call them and enter some info. Like they make it sound like this is this huge, well, Medicaid has to come and they have to interview all these people. And they've already done that, it's not as hard as a process as they make it seem, because they go out of their way to justify why they don't do the right thing. And that's something that drives me nuts. And that's for a whole nother podcast because you know how I can get going. But anyway, there's not enough treatment centers. And, he pointed that out. He's like, that's why he's like, there's no competition. He's like, trust me. He's like, there's enough people just in Lansing alone that need help.
Yeah.
Like that could fill every place, and like, don't worry, like we're not in that competition and we're not, and I kind of look at it the same way with the rides. Sometimes it's like, I see people who try to do it. Like there's this one treatment center that, it's horrible. I mean, they're not helping people out and they're not taking people all over the state. They're bringing people to them and they'll pick up 2 or 3 people at a time. Who wants to ride a treatment with 2 or 3 other people as you're withdrawing, like not me. And listening to gangster rap, not me. I do like some gangster rap, but just to be appropriate and to have a recovery coach drive people. But when I see people doing it badly, that's when it's like, oh, like what are they doing? Like, but I can't take everybody across the state. Everybody that needs. There's been times where it's like, no, we can't do it. We're already taking people, and I think people getting to and from treatment it should be streamlined. It should be the same. It should be easy. It shouldn't be such a hassle. If somebody can't find a safe ride to treatment, not put them on a bus, call an Uber, like, no.
Yeah.
Like they should all go in the same way. And, you give recovery coaches jobs then too. Anyway, that's the point though he was trying to make is like, there's enough to go around, man, mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be like this competition stuff. And I like that, and I think Rise, just from the time, talking with Jackie and Corey and the other members of Rise, like they're cool with what they're doing, and if you have questions, ask them. And I'm actually going to send Jackie an email because the lady her name was Farah. She's the head of MDHHS's behavioral health department, which is what the addiction stuff in Michigan is now put under. And she's like, she pretty much said, email Jackie, the lady who put this on from Rise, any questions, don't bombard her. Cause she was saying some stuff up there. It sounded good, mm-hmm. but let's see the action. And so I got some questions about how to go about doing those things. And we're a recovery community organization as well. So why aren't we being included in these things? Like, do I need to be the squeaky wheel? Maybe I do. Maybe I send you to be the squeaky wheel. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I got some questions and those will be sent. And it's good that that's even an option for us. And I'm glad that we went.
I think it's promising that she was there and was the keynote speaker.
Yeah.
I mean, that shows that she's, investing and she's actually showing up.
Yeah. As long as she went back to work and did something. It's having fun. Now I met Steve Thiel. He's a recovery coach, and he works for the Grand Rapids Red Project, and he has a business card that says Robin Fox. He said he was new.
Oh,
so,
okay.
because I was like, man, because he said he's listened to the podcast a few times.
Cool.
And I was like, cool. And I was asking him because he was talking about their mobile unit and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we kind of do that stuff with addiction treatment services. And it's like, sometimes it's like, I wish people would show up, and like we're out at places and I don't know. And so I asked him and he's like, yeah, sometimes that happens. But
he told us that one of the places where they had been going, which was a high traffic area for, if you wanted the bad part of town, mm-hmm. and that people were showing up and like protesting them even being there.
Right. Passing out Narcan. And he said the needle exchange, he said that they bring those to the office, but he said maybe to the mobile unit. I can't remember.
He said they bring them to us. Yeah, so I think he meant their office.
Yeah, so like people, maybe that's what we should do is set up like a protest, like a fake protest.
No.
That'd be so awesome. We would get like publicity.
No, absolutely not.
I get the interns. I'm like, call, like, interns need you.
He's kidding, just so you guys know.
I'm not kidding.
He's totally kidding.
For real, if you walk down the street and protested us, then people would know we were there. People are like, what's going on here? Just have a sign that says, recovery sucks, use drugs. Ha ha.
No, I'm not laughing.
She was like, don't protest people in recovery. I need like a slow clap, like.
Like one person is not even trying very hard to pretend to agree with your idea. You mean like that kind of clap?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there were really cool people there. A guy, his name is Michael Lehman. He's a project manager for RISE. And he saw the addiction treatment services table and he came up and he was like, yeah, like one of the last places I went to was Dukoski. And Dukoski is where the men's residential program is here in Traverse City. And he said that was back in 2018. He said he went there and that was the last place he went. And then he ended up going to sober living in Lansing. And now he's a program manager at RISE, And I took his card and I sent it to a woman who works at Dukoski. And her name's Karen. She listens. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
And she's just like, oh my gosh, happy tears, because when you see people make it, and not everybody does, there's a lot of people that, in my short time working there that I know that have passed away, and it's just like, whoa. So to see people, rise up and make it, it's great.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And I'd probably have him on the podcast.
I think you should for sure.
You're always like, get more people on.
Yeah, I know. You have a list of people now. I have tons of cards to give you as well if you want. Yeah. Okay, so you'll agree with me is that you were commenting that a lot of people in early recovery, especially when you're on that kind of pink cloud moment, people will spit out I'm gonna work for this company.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna be a drug counselor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna commit my life to this is my calling kind of deal. Which that's all great. Like that is awesome. And it's true. It's really how you feel at that moment. Because the amazing completeness that comes over you. You want everyone to feel that same way. Like that. I didn't think I could ever feel that, and now I do. And I want the whole world who struggles to feel this way. And how can I help make that happen? I want to be a part of it, and absolutely you can. But I will tell you that it's true. Is the people? There was a lot of people in that room, and when this goes back to my comment saying that probably 70% of the people who were in recovery, those were those people that were like, I want to do this. I think I'm going to do something with this for my profession so I can help other people. Yeah. And good for them, because you know where they're coming from. You don't know exactly where they've been and what's happened to them, but you can have a pretty good idea just from what we've been through ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
They were just like us. They went through the dark and they made it to the light.
Yep.
And
so it's funny because like you'll have people that will be like, you don't know what it's like. And you're like, no, I do. I really, truly do.
But I've been to 2 rehabs. I know a little thing or two. Oh, all right, sweetie.
Well, and it's funny too, is because you know how we talk about people do war stories about their using days, trying to one up each other on how bad they were or how much they used and all that. That they're on the flip side, that people will be like, well, I've been to 4 rehabs. Well, I've been to 6 rehabs. You know,
like that Steve guy.
I've been to jail. Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I heard that you were talking about you've been to a lot of rehabs. So have I. He's like, I've been to 11. I'm like, yeah, man, some of us just don't get it. And he was telling me, he's like, I was at Turning Point, like, I don't know, he said a ridiculous amount of times, like 7 times or 8. I'm like, oh, that's not my favorite on the list of places I would never want to go again in my life. That's right up there. Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, man, it sucked. I'm like, I bet, but it's your only option sometimes. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, but I mean, don't let the messaging here be that that's what it takes. You don't have to go to 14 to get it.
Yeah,
you can get it.
There's a guy I know, and he's been on this podcast before in 2019. And I don't know if he's trying to set a world record. I don't know. It's just like one of those things where it's like, wow, God, I'm glad he's still alive. But I don't know, man. I wish everybody would feel this, though. I know, unfortunately, you know, as I started the show with Rusty's intro, not everybody makes it.
Yeah.
You know, and doesn't mean Rusty was a bad guy at all. You know, was he the perfect guy? No. We all have flaws. We all make mistakes. But, yeah, I don't judge people for how many times they've been, you know. So when they're like, oh, I've been this many, I'm like, when I say it, I'm just like saying it to say, don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not throwing out there to be like, well, I've been, no. And they weren't all rehab. Some of them were mental hospitals. You know, they were like inpatient stays that I went in. I counted them when I was at treatment last time. And I was surprised it was so many. I was like, whoa. And my mom's like, you weren't that many. And I'm like, well, there was like 2 or 3 times, Mom, you didn't even know I went. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Don't give up.
Don't give up. That's the moral of the story.
If, you know, you go to your therapist and you're like, you know, I got 30 days clean, but I really want to be a recovery coach, or I really want to do this one day. I really want to help people. And they go, oh, that's what everybody says, you know, just get a job. And why don't you just do your other stuff and don't worry about, just say thanks for that advice, but I'm going to do what feels right to me. And I have goals and this is what I want to do. Don't let people shoot down your dreams. You know,
absolutely. Don't let anybody get in the way of that, because I said it and I meant it.
Yeah. I said it and I thought I wanted to do that, but then I realized I didn't. I didn't want to be a drug counselor, because that's what I thought. Oh yeah, I'd be a drug counselor, but I don't want to be a drug counselor.
That's okay.
Right. But at the time I thought I did. And there was a guy who now runs a place somewhere in Michigan, but he was like kind of slamming people that said they wanted to help people. And it really kind of offended me. And it just was like, why is this guy like, why is he attacking people who want to be in this field? Because he's not in recovery. So he doesn't like us. He doesn't like people that are in recovery that do his job and can relate to people and have empathy with people. The same guy was the guy that was like, I understand what you're going through, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Smoke pot back in high school. And when he said that at first, you know, it was like, oh, when he's like, I understand what you're going through. I'm like, oh my God, finally someone gets it, you know? And I was like, so, you know, what's your, oh yeah, I smoked pot back in high school. And then I was like,
but hold on though. I feel like I know I need to make a disclaimer about the fact that although I say that, you know, people that have been there can relate to you, and that means a lot. It's very true. But there are tons of clinical therapists and counselors that are amazing working with people with substance use disorder.
Yeah, my therapist is great. I've seen it
firsthand, and yeah, I mean,
it's
just
recovery. Amazing. But he shouldn't, in my professional opinion as a radio broadcaster, should not have said, oh, I know what you're going through, bro. You know, like, I can relate.
Yeah.
I can relate. I know exactly what you're going through, man. I can relate. You know? I felt so relieved. And then when I heard him say that, yeah, I smoked pot back in high school. I was like, oh my God, like, dude. So did I, man. So did I. Let me just tell him some crap. You know, I don't know. It was so deflating. Because here I thought, oh wow, like finally someone who I can connect to who understands, you know, and I don't know. It just felt like there's no way he could have understood.
But your therapist now, isn't it?
Yeah, she's not in recovery.
No,
you know,
she understands you.
Yeah, you know, which
is a really hard thing to do.
No, but she has some family stuff that, you know, has shown her, you know, addiction. Everybody knows somebody in addiction, and everybody does. So that kind of helps. But yeah, she doesn't pretend to either. She's not like, oh, Corey, I know what it's like to be, you know, trying to get you home so you can stop shaking, you know, from work, and to cut out early and just to get home, just to get that drink so you'll stop shaking because it feels like you're about to just blow up, you know. And yeah, she doesn't say that. She doesn't know, you know. But you know, for that guy to say that, I was like, argh. But he's again the same guy that was like bashing people for wanting to work in the field. So. I don't know, maybe there's some issues. Maybe I should have him on to talk that out.
Maybe
he can unpack some things.
Yeah.
It'll be a free session for him.
Yeah.
I'll tell him because I know what he went through. Because I used to smoke pot in high school too. I know exactly what he went through.
There you go.
Just being a smart ass.
So it's Thursday and feels like a Sunday.
I thought it felt like a Saturday.
Or Saturday. Yeah. Just not a Thursday.
Yeah. Because we went to Lansing and worked so hard today. Mm-hmm. But we'll be back Saturday.
We will be back
for
Saturday.
Another episode. And we'll talk more auction stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Or raffles. Get that underway. But that'll wrap up today's podcast.
Excellent.
We'll do some shout outs.
Okay.
As we wrap it up, I'm going to shout out to Michael Lehman, who I mentioned earlier. Stephanie Webster. She's from Rise as well. And throw it out to Steve again. Amber from Families Against Narcotics. Pam from Lansing Community College, who is not listening. Mm-hmm. She's not in our demo, but she got a shout out anyway. Mia Smith from Lifeboat. And Jeff from Dot Caring Centers.
Wow. You took notes and everything.
This is all the business cards that I have, and I have them all in front of me.
Well, I'm going to shout out to our very own Emmy and Adam.
They don't listen either?
Well, I'm shouting out to them for sure. And shouting out to Courtney, because you've missed her.
Yeah, she's not listening either.
A shout out to Holly and Michelle. I'm not sure which agencies. I think
Holly signed. I think they both signed up for shirts.
Did they? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Christina, Andrew from Saginaw. He runs a recovery home operation. I was just kind of first names. I don't have the business cards in front of me, like you do, but that's okay, cheater.
Did you come prepared next time?
Oh, ouch.
Thanks for listening. That will wrap it up. We'll talk to you on Saturday. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Win a bunch of free shit from 217 Recovery. Go to the app or the website, 217recovery.com.